Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to start with the 11th chapter in the syllabus. The name of the chapter is calorimetry. Okay, calorimetry deals with the measurement of heat. Okay, so calorimetry is a branch of physics in which you measure the amount of heat contained in a body. All right. Now, before we begin with the other concepts, we should know what heat is. Okay, we all know that heat is a form of energy. All right, and it flows from a hot body to a cold body when the two bodies are in contact with each other. So we can define heat as heat is that form of energy which flows from a hot body to a cold body when they are kept in contact. All right. Now, how does heat arise in a body, or what happens inside a body when it absorbs some amount of heat? You know, every object is made up of tiny particles. Okay. And the tiny particles are in a state of random motion. Okay. Now, on absorption of heat, the random motion of the particles increases. That means they start moving more vigorously, and the energy or the kinetic energy of the particles increases. All right. Now, that means we can conclude that whenever a body is heated, the internal energy of the body increases. All right. Molecules possess kinetic energy due to the random motion and potential energy due to the molecular attractive forces. So not only kinetic energy, they also possess potential energy because of the attractive forces between the molecules. Okay. The sum of potential energy and kinetic energy of a molecule is called its internal energy. I told you internal energy increases on heating. So what is actually this internal energy? The sum of the kinetic and potential energy of each molecule is called internal energy. Okay. Now, this total amount of internal energy contained by a body in it is called thermal energy. Thermal means heat. Okay. So, heat energy is a measurement of thermal energy of a particle, of a body. Okay. Now, a hot body has got more internal energy because of the random motion than an identical cold body. And when a hot body is kept in contact with a cold body obviously warms up, while the hot body cools down. That means internal energy of the cold body increases because of absorption of heat from the hot body, and the internal energy of the hot body decreases because it is going to give out its heat to the cold body. Okay, now there is a flow of energy from hot body to the cold body when they are kept in contact, and this flow of energy is what we call heat. Alright, now coming to the unit of heat, because like all other physical quantities, heat is also a measurable quantity. Okay, the measurement of quantity of heat is called, as I told you, calorimetry. Now coming to the units of heat, SI unit of heat is joule. Like all other forms of energy, the SI unit of heat is joule. Okay. And the other commonly used unit is calorie. More than joule, people commonly use calorie for measurement of heat. Okay. Calorie, another unit, common unit is calorie, abbreviated as cal. Alright. Now, we should be able to define calorie in terms of the quantity of heat absorbed by a body, because calorie is nothing but the amount of heat. Alright. So, 1 calorie definition is the quantity of heat energy required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water to 1 degree Celsius. Okay. That means if you take 1 gram of water and if you want to raise the temperature of that water by 1 degree Celsius, that will be taking in a certain amount of heat. That certain amount of heat is equal to 1 calorie, or more precisely, 1 calorie is the heat energy required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water from, you have to note this temperature carefully, 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degree Celsius. Now here the difference is again 1 degree Celsius, but exact amount of heat taken when the temperature of water, 1 gram of water rises from 14.5 to 15.5 degrees Celsius is exactly exactly equal to 1 calorie. If we take another interval of temperature like 1 degree Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius, it may not be exactly equal to 1 calorie. That's why we define calorie as the heat energy required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius, that is through 1 degree Celsius. Alright, now there are two units as I told you. One is the SI unit, internationally accepted, and the other one is commonly used unit. These two are related by the relation 1 calorie is nearly equal to 4.2 joule. That means calorie happens to be a bigger unit than joule. Alright. Now, coming to another commonly used unit of heat, that is kilocalorie. If the amount of heat is much higher, okay, the unit will not be calorie, it will be kilocalorie, where 1 kilocalorie is equal to 1000 calorie. Alright. So, to define it, 1 kilocalorie is the heat energy required to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius. If calorie was needed for 1 gram of water, kilocalorie is needed for 1 kilogram of water. That is the difference. Okay. It is usually used for measuring the energy value of foods. You must have seen the packets on the back side of it. It writes down the amount of energy contained in it. It is written in kilocalorie. Okay. Now, another very important physical quantity related to heat is temperature. If you do not know the temperature, you may not be able to have an idea about the heat contained in a body. So let's see what temperature is. Temperature, you have two objects, okay, A and B. They are kept in contact. One is at 100 degrees Celsius, another one is at 50 degrees Celsius. Okay, now naturally heat will flow from this 100 degrees Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this is the direction of flow of heat. If you just take this side to be 5 degrees Celsius and this side to be 25 degrees Celsius, heat will be flowing from right to left, isn't it? So, what is actually determining the direction of flow of heat here? It is the temperature of the two bodies. So, temperature can be defined as the physical quantity which determines the direction of flow of heat when two bodies are kept in contact. Okay? Or, in other words, you can also define temperature as temperature is a parameter which tells the thermal state of a body. That means thermal state means whether the body is hot or cold. So it gives you the degree of hotness or coldness of a body. Okay, and it also determines the direction of flow of heat when two bodies at different temperatures are placed in contact. Okay, so this is the definition of temperature. Now, if there is no transfer of heat between the two bodies, so if you place two bodies, okay, in contact with each other and you see that there is no flow of heat occurring between the two bodies, then you can conclude that both the bodies are in the same temperature. This is called thermal equilibrium of the two bodies. Alright. Now coming to the unit of temperature, the SI unit of temperature is, as we all know, it is Kelvin. Okay. But most commonly we use degree Celsius as the unit of temperature. So SI unit of temperature is Kelvin, denoted by the letter K, and another commonly used unit is degree Celsius. Now, how are these two related? Kelvin and degree Celsius you can easily convert. That means T is the temperature in Kelvin. You just have to add 273 to the temperature in degree Celsius. Suppose if I give you 20 degrees Celsius and ask you to convert this into Kelvin, your temperature in Kelvin will be 273 plus 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it will be 293 Kelvin. This is how you convert degrees Celsius into Kelvin. Okay, but one thing you should note here is that if there is a change in temperature, the change in temperature in degrees Celsius will be equal to the change in temperature in Kelvin as well. So as long as there is change in temperature concerned, when you solve the numericals, you need not convert degree Celsius into Kelvin and vice versa. If there is a change in temperature, 1 degree Celsius change corresponds to 1 Kelvin change in temperature. Okay, now coming to the factors affecting the quantity of heat absorbed by a body. Okay, now if you have a body and if you want to supply the heat to a body, that body will be taking certain amount of heat based on various factors. Okay, the first factor is mass of the body. That means a bigger mass will be absorbing greater amount of heat and a smaller mass will be absorbing small amount of heat for the same rise in temperature for the same material. Alright. Secondly, it is the amount of heat absorbed by a body depends on the rising temperature of the body. If you want to increase the temperature of a certain body by 5 degrees Celsius and another body of the same mass by 10 degrees Celsius, you need to supply more heat to the second body. Okay. And thirdly, it also depends on the material of the body. Okay. So different materials, if you have two different materials of the same mass with the same rise in temperature, they will not be taking the same amount of heat. Okay, like you want to heat oil and water, which one will be heating up faster? Obviously, the oil will be getting heated up faster because of its material. Okay, so to sum up, the amount of heat absorbed by a body depends on three factors. One is this Q denotes heat is directly proportional to M. More the mass, more will be the amount of heat absorbed. Q is proportional to the change in temperature. The small triangle denotes delta. Delta means change. Okay, and Q depends on the material. Material is specified by a term called specific heat capacity of the body. Now Q, on combining these three, you will be getting NC delta T. Okay, or mathematically in SI system, Q will be equal to this K constant will be equal to 1, so it can be written as Q is equal to MC delta T. Okay, where C is the specific heat capacity which specifies the material, M is the mass of the body, and delta T is the change in temperature. Okay, now in the next class we will be dealing with the term specific heat capacity and heat capacity. Okay, that is all for today's class. Thank you for your attention.